What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. This is the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys so very much. Over 1,200 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. I thank you guys so very much for every single thing that you do for me. It makes a huge difference. I get to talk to amazing people like Miss CEO herself, Miss Tiffany Torrence of SkinBodyKlinic.com. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing pretty good. Tiffany, first off the bat, let our audience know, where are you from? Where do you represent?
I am from a town called Willingboro, New Jersey. It's about 12 miles outside of Philadelphia.
Okay, cool. So, where did the idea for Skin and Body Clinic come from?
Oh, it is probably an idea that has been brewing for over 30 years.
Wow.
that I didn't know that it would evolve to this point. As a young girl, when I was in college, I used to model, and what ended up happening was I always did makeup when I was a young girl. I guess like in high school, I was always fascinated with beauty and makeup, and I and a couple of fashion shows, the makeup artists didn't show up. So I did my own makeup, and the designers were like, "Oh, wait, you did that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did my own makeup." And they were like, "Well, do you think you would want to do makeup?" So I stopped modeling, and I just started doing makeup. And when I got out of college, I had a mass amount of credit card debt, which probably most college students had.
Yeah.
So I had to work 2 jobs. So I used my second job to pay off my credit card debt. But I said if I was going to work a second job, let me do something that I like. So I worked at a makeup counter. So it didn't really seem like work. And as I did makeup, day in and day out, and as time went on, and I'm, knocking down my credit card debt, people began to ask me, "Hey, can you do my wedding? I have to go to this black tie function. I have to do this. I have to do that." So it just kind of evolved from there. My background is finance. I was an online trader for a couple of years, and then I worked for the Philadelphia Stock Exchange. I was on-floor surveillance, so I monitored the traders on the floor.
Right.
And just as time went on, my career progressed, and I went into compliance, and I worked for Morgan Stanley, and around that time is when the market collapsed, like in 2008.
Yeah.
And I lost my job, and I applied for another job. I worked full-time, and I lost my job again because the market was just slowly collapsing. So as people were getting hired, people were being fired. So literally I took a full-time job. I was there probably for 3 weeks, and I got let go. So I got tired of the back and forth and the lack of being able to depend on a full-time job. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do makeup full-time for a while and just see where it takes me. So I started doing makeup full-time. I became the head makeup and hair person for an online TV show on Hulu. I did that for a couple of years, and I was married at the time. So, with marriage comes family and babies and things like that. So I ended up pregnant, and because I was a later pregnancy, my doctor said, "I really don't think you should travel doing what you do." So I said, okay, I got to figure out something else. So I applied for a job with CNN and MSNBC. I put my resume in with them, and they said, "Your work is great. However, you're not licensed. We need licensed cosmetologists, estheticians, things like that for reliability purposes." So I said, "I'm going to esthetician school." So I went to esthetician school. I was pregnant. My son was due 2 weeks after I graduated. And I was, and I decided to, continue to do the skincare. I fell in love with skincare. And I worked for a couple of people. Didn't work out. I didn't with a master's in management. With a master's in management, I realized that I understand how to manage. I can work in an environment. I can work in an environment that will allow me to leverage both skill sets, all 3 skill sets, which would be makeup, skincare, and expand my management education. So I managed a day spa for a plastic surgeon, and just having that experience gave me the ability to operate on someone else's dime for a little while and understand all of the workings of what it takes to run a facility, a spa per se.
Wow.
So fortunately, but unfortunately, Hurricane Sandy happened.
Oh goodness.
And it totaled his spa. So,
wow.
It wasn't a priority for him. So it not being a priority for the plastic surgeon,
Right.
I realized I had to move on. So unfortunately, at that same time, my marriage was breaking up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to move back home. I'll go back to corporate for a little while and figure something out. So I went back to corporate. I hated it. I hated every day that I went to work.
Yeah.
And I realized that I said, you know what? I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to do it my way. So I, with prayer and faith in myself and support from my family, I realized that I can open my own space. So I went into a corporate job. I was a contractor. And all my extra money went into opening my spa, which is the Skin Body Klinic that's been open for about 5 years now.
Wow. Tiffany. See, this is why I love doing this show. Is because people don't understand. They don't know. They see your success. They see your business. They see you online. They see your social media. And like, oh, yeah, Tiffany's doing it. She's successful. But to actually hear the story behind the clinic from the person itself, that is absolutely sensational.
The one thing I have to tell people, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh my gosh, you're doing it. Or people that have known me for a long time and they come into the spa and they're like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. You are doing it, girl. Blah, blah, blah. This, all of that. That's all nice. And I tell people, this was sacrifice.
Yeah.
This was, I had to make some hard decisions between, do I go into a marriage, do I stay in a marriage where I'm really not happy and I'm not being supported the way I need to be supported and I'm not providing the environment for my son?
Yeah.
Or do I step away from that and I push and sacrifice and do what I need to do so that I have built a legacy for my child?
Yes.
And it's hard decisions. I've lost friends. I've lost, I hate to say it, I lost a marriage.
Yeah.
I left my job. I left the comfort. I don't want to say comforts, but I left getting a paycheck, a significant paycheck every other week, to working for myself where it never stops. I'm trying to put myself on a schedule where I work a set amount of hours, and then I have, that home and family life work balance. And when you work for yourself, that's out the window. I'm on vacation right now. I'm on vacation right now, and I'm still posting. I'm still thinking about, I'm still 3-4 months ahead planning for what I need to do to continue to bring business and get that door recycling and move, and going. So, I tell people all the time, like, it looks good, but it's really not. It's hard work, and it's constant, and it's nonstop.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, because people will sometimes say the same thing about me. Oh, it's so great. Are you doing this? I'm like, it's still work. I love it and I appreciate it, but it's still work. If I don't get up and move my butt in the morning, guess what? It doesn't get done. So as much as we love it and appreciate it, it's still, it takes a certain amount of discipline. It really does. And, so I commend you on all of your success, and just your courage to continue to push forward, because a lot of women, I can understand, going through maybe a quarter or even a half of the stuff that you been through as you're telling your story. I'm like, wow, she went through that. Wow, she did, and you still persevered. So that example alone that's commendable. So I salute you on that one. All right, you guys, so we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're talking more with Tiffany, and we're going to see one of these amazing services that she's adding to their menu. You guys got to stay tuned, all right? If you don't know about if you don't know about the V-Steam, you want to stay tuned to it. So hang tight, and we'll be right back. Did you know that some foods can cause weight gain, body aches, and extreme fatigue? These are just some of the symptoms of food intolerance. Well, what is food intolerance? Food intolerance can occur when the body cannot properly digest certain foods. This can result in acid reflux, migraines, and so many other painful issues. How do you find out what foods are causing this irritation? It's easy. Pinner Test. With 500,000 satisfied clients worldwide, Pinner Test is the #1 way of identifying foods that may be causing discomfort. This simple at-home kit is easy to use with results usually within 2 weeks via email. It's that simple, all right? What are you waiting for? Go visit pinnertest.com and use my special promo code AshSaidIt for your discount today. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily podcast show. I appreciate you guys. We're talking to Miss CEO herself, Tiffany Torrence. Yeah, skinandbodyclinic.com. So, Tiffany, why did you decide to add the V-Steam to your services that you guys offer?
Well, the mantra or the mindset behind the Skin and Body Clinic is that, we want you to get the skin you deserve. As someone who's struggled with acne and discoloration for various reasons, I understand what it means when my clients come to me and say they're really unhappy with what they see in the mirror. I really understand that. However, that is not an isolated issue.
Right.
A lot of times, I have people that come in with chronic acne, and the first thing I do is I give them a detox. I tell them, hey, you need to clean out your insides because what's going on internally is showing up on your face. So de-steaming, while it is not, there might not be any correlation with acne. It's just a whole body or a holistic perspective to treating the body. One of the things that we do in the Skin and Body Clinic is we also offer manicures and pedicures, but we use polish and gels that are non-toxic.
Right.
Our products are 5-free, which means they have none of the toxins in it that are in your commercial or normal nail polishes, your big polishes that you see it all over the place. So with that, I just took it a step forward. And as someone who has suffered from endometriosis and major painful cramps all of their life, if this is a natural way to address and bring balance to that environment or that area, why not? I'm a really big believer in, as opposed to treating the symptoms, let's do root cause analysis as it relates to what is causing your problem. Right. And a lot of times it does go back to diet. Acne, a lot of times it can be traced back to diet. Fibroids, a lot of times can be traced back to diet. So if we can offer a holistic approach to healing or bringing comfort to the body as opposed to popping a pill, which is only going to address the symptoms, then why not?
This is true. Now, for people that are not familiar with it, what actually happens in a V-Steam? If you could tell us a little something.
A V-Steam essentially is almost like a facial for the honey pot, as I call it.
I love that, the honey pot.
So essentially what we do is there's a questionnaire. I'm going to ask you some questions because we're not just going to let anybody hop on the pot. Right. They're, based on if you fit the criteria, then you're a candidate for it. What we do is, you remove your underwear, and you sit on a sanitized commode. I'll call it a commode. A seat that is open on the bottom, and there is a combination of herbs. I have a couple of different treatments. We'll talk about the universal. Okay. The universal herb combination is mugwort, oregano, basil, chamomile, lavender. and a couple other herbs that are mixed together. And what I do is I boil water, and I add the herbs to the water, and I steep it almost like the tea. And then what we do is you sit on the commode, and I put the pot underneath you, and I cover you and the pot so that the steam cannot escape. And what happens is you feel the steam rise, and it makes its way up into the reproductive area. You have to make sure that there's enough distance between the steam and the honey pot, because you definitely don't want to burn that skin. That skin is very, very sensitive and very, very, lots of nerve endings there. So you sit there. It's very relaxing. We have some really nice calming music. It's isolated, so you're in an enclosed space, so you can't see anyone. No one can see you. It's very private. And you just relax. I actually have people that fall asleep. Actually, women have fallen asleep on the pot the few times that I've done it. I've done it in vending events and things like that, and I've done some parties, some private parties.
Gotcha.
And it's just a really, really good way to relax and enrich that area. The steam helps to bring fresh blood and oxygen to the area, which helps to improve the biosphere, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
Oxygen is always needed for the human body.
Yes.
When you're doing yoga, right? You're taking in deep breaths. When you're doing Pilates, when you're lifting weights, you need to breathe in extra oxygen so that the muscle can do what it needs to do. Gotcha. It's the same thing in that biosphere. It's nothing different. You want to bring in oxygen to increase blood flow there to help with whatever it is. If you're having libido issues, if you're having dryness, pre- and post-menopausal symptoms, cramps, BV, constant, consistent yeast infections, anything like that, you want to change the environment, and bringing oxygen to the area is what is going to help bring balance and improve and heal. So that's basically the experience. It's very nice. It's relaxing. And we also do, we have some upgrades to our service, so you can do that by itself, or you can do that with a invigorating massage with some peppermint oil to kind of wake you up and get you going, so you can continue on with your day, or you can do the total body detox. And what that is we do the V-steam for 35 minutes, and then once we do that, we cover you in a clay type mask, and we wrap you with bandages, and we put you in a sauna blanket for another 35 minutes. Oh, wow. And what that does is it allows the body to sweat out the toxins. The heat from the sauna blanket and the clay allows you to sweat out the toxins. So you may even drop a few inches by the time you're done.
That sounds like a plan. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, last but certainly not least, Tiffany, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you and, of course, to book their appointment to see you guys?
So you can book your appointment on our website because people, one of the things that I found is no one really works with conventional means of communication, which would be like picking up the phone. So a good way to schedule an appointment is you can go to our website, which is www.skinbody, BODY, Clinic, KLINIC.com, and you can click on the appointments tab at the top of the screen, and it'll take you through our services. And you'll be able to scroll down. You'll see all of our facials. You'll see our waxing. You'll see our massage. You'll see our V-steam. We have teeth whitening. We have everything, manicures and pedicures. I'm a closet beauty queen, I tell people. So anything dealing with the aesthetics, we have it.
Sounds like a plan. Tiffany.
And you can book your appointment right there.
Awesome. Tiffany, thank you so much for spending your vacation with us. I didn't know you were on vacation, girl. We could have booked it another time.
Great. I loved it.
So we really appreciate you. Much more success to you, 2018 and beyond. So continue to push forward, and you have our full support. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And thank you guys, and I thank each and every one of you guys for all of your support and love. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do.
Right.
Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is way, way better. Until next time, you guys.